All right. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. So, thanks for coming right after lunch. So I'm Seth Cottle. I am a UI designer at Capital One working on the Wallet app for both Android and iOS. So I have a short, sweet, to the point presentation for you today about connecting developers with the design aspect of things to make you a little more design oriented. And after the short presentation, we'll be going into a small demo of using some of those tools like Sketch and Zeppelin. So I have a few main challenges that I want to focus on with this talk, and that is helping you break the language barrier between design teams and development teams. Because not all designers are technical designers and not all developers are design oriented. So there can be major breakdowns between these two teams. And as a solo and freelance developer, there can, hopefully this will help you with the concepts of creating applications as well as interacting with your clients on a more granular level. A client is more likely to understand a design perspective rather than a technical solution to something. And moving into testing and how that can help you with building your application before you even build it, which comes down to the final point of helping you not waste your precious development time. Iterating on a design file 30 times is a lot easier than changing your code 30 times. So knowledge is power when it comes to design. I want to help you understand material as a design language, just the basics of the language itself. I want to help you find the tools that are right for you. I'll give you a few suggestions on some. There are plenty of tools in the space for everyone, no matter how you want to approach something, and how you can go about integrating these tools into your workflow. So a brief overview of what material is. So I like to think of material as bold, immersive, and graphic, which is big. So material was one of the biggest design language updates over the past few years. It was a huge jump from the Android Holo design, and it really changed how apps can work. And we break it down to 6 main points, which are typography, grids, space, scale, color, and imagery. So all 6 of these elements combined are what the user finds pleasing to the eye. They really help you create hierarchy, meaning, and they bring focus to your designs and your applications. And from deliberate color choices, material is vivid and bright. Really draws the user to it, using vivid imagery and large typography, as well as making intentional white space within your applications. So all of these components are the core functionality behind material, and all of it makes it immediately apparent and provides direction for your users. So it gives them a waypoint through your application. So for prototyping and user testing, there's a few tools you can start using. So my go-to tool is InVision for all my prototyping. It's easy to use, it's free to use, and they have plenty of integrations for user testing tools as well. Proto.io, not free to use, and is way more advanced. But with services like Proto.io, you can really go deep into animations and creating a very lifelike application, whereas something with InVision is more point-click, standard slide animation. Then using testing services like user testing and lookback to record how users are actually interacting with your applications. So with users interacting with your applications, you can find initial important feedback at the start before you even begin developing your application to make changes and tweaks where for edge cases you never thought of throughout your design. So yeah, these are my go-to tools for my everyday workflow. And before we jump into Sketch, just a quick overview. So Sketch is Bay to me. I mean, is literally everything. I switched from the Adobe suite 2 years ago to Sketch, and I haven't looked back since. And if you're not using Sketch, I'm sorry. And if you don't have a Mac, I'm also sorry. Because there is no Windows equivalent to Sketch, unfortunately. But a few main plugins I use by Sketch are Sketch Runner, Sketch Measure, Zeppelin, and Craft by Envision earlier. And Crystal isn't really a plugin. It's actually an Android application that is based off of Sketch Mirror. So you're able to physically mirror all of your designs to your Android phone to see how it looks. So with the plugin statement, Sketch is extremely powerful and is very open to developers, and you can literally find a plugin for anything you could ever want, from version control to just measuring out items. So I'm going to go into just a quick demo of how Sketch works, how it could potentially help you, and we're going to build a very quick sample app in all of 2 minutes to show you just how easy it is to get started with Sketch and how you can start building beautiful applications that are oriented for your users to keep them coming back. So this is called a sticker sheet, which is very difficult to see on that small screen. So sticker sheet, this is an official sticker sheet provided by Google in the Sketch format that has almost every Android component you would use within a real application. So even if you're not a designer, Google has made it extremely easy for you to get started with tinkering how your app should look. And there's plenty of websites like Sketch App Resources and Sketch Repo and UpLabs that provide users like myself upload our designs to it constantly for you to use for free. So everyone can share and create. So with a template like this, you're able to just take a single component and edit it. So we could edit our title to card title and use August 26, as the date. So they give you these really well-built components to get started building things very easily. So I'm going to open up a new Sketch document, which is I have over here. I have pre-made, so Sketch has powerful built-in tools like symbols, which I've created a few previously to this talk, just to get the base elements done that we would be using within the application. Symbols are universal elements that you can easily drag and drop into your designs, and the sticker sheet I just showed you is comprised mostly of symbols. Symbols allow you to easily change the colors of different things, as well as have a single element and not 30,000 layers that you're dealing with like you would in Photoshop. So it's a very concealed group. So I just made a few very simple ones that we'll be able to just drag into our page. So this is an artboard, which I have one symbol placed on, which is our initial background, which is the size of a standard phone screen, 360 by 640. So we'll go ahead and drop a few symbols in. So it's really tiny on the screen, but you can import your symbols. I organize mine the same way Google does, which is like by system or component. If you're reading the material design guidelines online, you'll see if you click on cards, it's called a component. They break it down into categories. So I like to organize my symbols the exact same way. That way, if I'm referencing the material guidelines, I can drop right into my symbols and figure out what I'm actually looking for. So I'm going to go down to System and add a navigation bar. And then go to System, add an app bar. and then a status bar. So all of 4 clicks, and you have a base layout for an Android application. And another powerful tool with like symbols is where it says screen title. All I have to do is click on it once and type in what I want screen title to actually say. And we'll drag in a grid element for content. So one thing about symbols is you can't edit them individually. A symbol is, the only way to do that is detach it from a symbol group. So I'm going to detach these grids. That way we can edit them individually. So I want to add a picture here. I can go to my fill it with a picture, do documents. Seth Cottle, fill it, and bring our opacity up. So easily add an image into your grid. So if we say these are speakers, here's me. And I know I pre-made them and I pre-planned my outfit so he would match me. And we can add our little hipster speaker too, whose name is Hipster Droid. So, all in a matter of 5 minutes, we have a base layout completely built with, a grid system for our application. So it's a really powerful tool to help you, do early pre-planning before you start your development, and really save you time in the end. Some people think it's monotonous or way too tedious to start designing early, and they want to jump right into just developing the application they have in mind. But this can really help you, isolate your edge cases and build something that your users will love as much as you do. So some more powerful parts of Sketch are, so this schedule symbol or icon, we can slice it, and that will allow you to export that icon and make it so it only exports the icon and not the background. So being able to export that icon in the size you need, 1x, 2x, 3x, and I'll show you how this can integrate with Zeppelin, which is a powerful tool for designers and developers to basically communicate with each other, to share assets and specs. So I'm going to go ahead and export this to my Zeppelin. So I'm going to use I have a plugin installed on my Sketch called Sketch Runner that I mentioned earlier. It's basically Spotlight and Alfred, a really powerful tool that you can use to just quickly find things instead of going through your plugin menu. So I'm going to type in Zeppelin. Need to export my artboard. Select it. And you can select what you're exporting for. I design everything at 1x. A lot of people design at HDPI as well, which is 2x for higher resolution screens. I find it easier just to design at 1x because I know you have the latest greatest Android phone with a 6-inch screen, but a lot of your users don't. You'll still find people using a Nexus 4 who don't have the luxury of having the Quad HD display that's 6 inches. So design smaller and things will responsibly scale larger with ease. So we're going to import that. Takes just a minute to import. It's already done. So coming into here, you can't make the side bigger. Okay. A developer can come in, look at this, click on any of these elements, and get the color for the hex code, the width and height of every element as well. And earlier I sliced the icon, so we can go to the Slice tab, and it automatically found all of the assets I sliced. So if you have a huge app with a ton of icons or images that you need sliced that you don't want to export as different sizes, Zeppelin's going to do all of that for you. I can export this as a SVG since Android Studio now has standard SVG support. And I can export it as PNGs, which will export it in all 5 sizes for you, and you can drag into your MDPI folders or HDPI folders yourself. I obviously recommend everyone use SVGs. Especially with all these quad HD displays, you're going to use your PNGs and get really low resolution images. And you're able to use some cool things like being able to tag images. So if you have we use Zeppelin at Capital One on the wallet team as well for all of our things, and we throw 20 artboards in it a day sometimes. So it gets a little messy, so you're able to tag everything. So if a developer is working on one feature, he can easily find that one feature and kind of throw everything else out of the board. So yeah, that's pretty much Sketch in a nutshell. And I just wanted to go into a vision real quick. I'm not going to make a huge prototype in it. Even though it was like super simple and quick, I just kind of wanted to show you the overview of it. Actually, instead of even uploading this, I'll just show you one of my current projects in it. So InVision has some really cool features built in, caked in out of the box, which you're able to do. Like look back is a feature integrated tightly with InVision to do user testing right on the spot, where you can upload your prototype, build it out, and instantly deploy it to a ton of users. Record them actually using your application to see their reactions, the pain points where they get stuck, and how you can go back, iterate, and fix those pain points for your user. And that wraps right back into it's easier, to fix your design 30 times than change your code 30 times. So I'm just going to open this up. So this is a very basic application, very few touch points. So this is a login request application. You would receive a login request from a web service or another application, and it would come directly to the app, and it gets rid of passwords to where you just approve your login request. So you just got one, you just click approve, and got it. So it's, InVision for prototyping is you'll be able to share this with a client or user before you even start to make sure you are on the correct path. And that's why user testing is so important. Especially if you're a freelance developer and you're working with clients, this is going to be a big deal to make sure you're not wasting their time or their money, and you're on the strong path to build something that fits the model they need. So you're able to click through. It behaves almost like a real app. You just have less control over animations and things like that. So like I said, I was keeping my talk very short and to the point. I just want to take a few minutes for questions or any feedback you have. So yeah. Thank you.
You can export Sketch into Android Studio after that?
Yeah, so there are actually plugins. There was a talk earlier today on the design track, the Simply. So I've used Zeppelin forever. Simply is pretty new to the market, so I haven't had a chance to actually integrate it or try it in my workflow. Simply integrates directly with Xcode and Android Studio, whereas programs like Zeppelin, you can only export the assets, and then you manually upload them into Studio yourself.
So Sketch you can't directly import it?
Yeah, but Sketch itself is not capable of that, but there are plenty of plugins and services that allow you to do that directly.
And Sketch itself can actually just cut images in a proper resolution sphere, so you don't need to save it 5 times to get all your MDPI, XDPI, and so on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it from Sketch.
Yeah, Sketch is really like targeted towards iOS, so you're easily able to export things in 1x, 2x, and 3x very quickly. You can't quickly export things in MDPI, HDPI, XXHDPI. You would have to manually calculate those yourself and type them in to export them that way in Sketch. Yes.
Oh, I've got a comment
Yeah.
about the design in 1x, why it's useful also. Well, it's not only about small screen devices, but also about scaling. Because when you are designing, say, in 3x, yeah, and you have this device in 1x, you have to downscale, and you've got to some, I don't know, floating points. And if you are designing in 1x, every dimension in your design will be upscaled or not, will be integer.
Yep. Yeah.
So that's easy for developers. That will be look nicer, and you can also have your pixel perfect design. Have like 1 pixel line on every screen.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a great point as well. Down scaling your designs. So yeah, if any more questions or no? Okay. Well, thank you guys. Tried to keep it short and simple for everyone, just to get the point across. I'm a technically oriented designer, so I came from a development background and moved into design 4 years ago. And I think it's important for all designers to have a technical background, at least learn the fundamentals of it. And I think it's important for all developers to have some sort of design, orientation to where they're comfortable designing things themselves and working hand in hand with a design team. So yeah, again, I'm Seth. You can follow me on Twitter. I tweet once a week, if that. And I don't update my website, but about once a year. So thank you.